Welcome back. Today we're going to look at the second part of the video where we left it at yesterday. So we're going to work on the minor roads and the residentials. All right. So we'll just work on them, then we conclude this aspect of the training. So you right click, or first and foremost, you change this road to any of these arterial streets. So I'm going to click OK. So it's black, but still making the whole thing rowdy. So you right click on it, go to properties. Now on properties, you go to display. Now what we want to do here is that we want this thing to show, but we want it to show with a minimal effect. So we're going to take the transparency to 75, and then we're going to apply. Now once we apply, you will see that the road layers now have gone down. They are still there, but they have minimal effect. They are still very visible, but they have minimal effect. So now we right click on the residential, go to properties. On properties, we do the same thing. We say 75% on transparency. Then we click on OK. Now you can see that they went down, but they are still there. Now if we remove these two, we have a map, but it is still telling us some scanty things, like the whole place is not having any other thing, making our map look scanty, and all that. But once we put these two, automatically it's showing that there are quite number of features under, but it shows that the thing has a lot of details. Do you understand? So that is the idea behind this. You can make it even up to 80 if it's affecting anything, if it's not as clear as you wanted it to be. So if we zoom, we are going to still see all of these buildings, but it's not that visible, like to block things on the upper. So this is the idea behind moving the transparency up or down. At 0, it shows it full ranges, but at 50, 60, 70, it begins to minimize the effect of it. So now all we have up is the major road, the hotels, and all that. Now the next thing we're going to do, if you're doing a tourist guide map, if it's a project, what is required of you, or even if it's going to be a presentation, you should be able to tell them that, okay, each of these layer has a representation graphically. So we have to represent each of them one by one. All right, so we are going to have just hotels. Now if you're going to just have hotels, what is needed is that you have to display their name. Like, what are the names of these hotels? So you right click on the hotel and you come to properties. So we're going to label it. So on properties, we go to symbology. Then you check this label feature in the same layer. You leave it the way it are. And then we can bold this and let's apply. Now, you see that the hotel name are appearing, yes, but it's still not really giving the vibe, as in it's just there, just name, and it's just rowdy. So now let's right click again, go to properties. Now this time we're going to go to symbols, and then we go to edit symbols or symbol, anyone. Then we come to these marks, and we say hollow. Now you see that there is uh, a stroke on it. So this stroke will enable the visibility of the road layer, of the labels in, sorry. So if I click apply now, you will see that all of these name features are coming up very well, popped out well, that somebody can see and say, oh, this is Hills Bay Hotel. And someone can say and say, this is Swiss International, the Vastana Lagos. And then somebody can say, this is Chisney Hotel or Lagos Oriental Hotel. It's visible. And this can be done individually on each of the features we have here, hospital and the rest. Now uh we cannot have all of them on here with the name displayed. Now after you've done with this, you can export this very one, just hotel, do the same thing for hospital, do the same thing for all of this. But when you want to produce the overall map of the tourist guide, let's remove this. So you bring out all the names and all the features that are needed in this. The only one that you are now going to have labeled will be your tourist guide. So let's right click and go to properties. And then we check this. Then we go to symbols or symbol, edit symbol, and masked, hollow, okay, okay, bold, and then we release it. Now we're going to have everything that is needed within. I think some of the coordinates fall outside. That's fine, but for the purpose of uh, this, I think this thing has a missed in coordinate, so it's supposed to be inside here. But for the purpose of the training or the tutorial, it's fine. All right. So now the only thing that we haven't name will be the tourist guide. The police station and every other thing will not have um this whole thing. Now the next thing is that we're going to produce this into a map. So let's click on layout view, and on the layout view it's showing portrait, but you see, this cannot stay on portrait, it's going to be too small. So we're going to come to file, and then we'll go to page and print setup. So here we're going to leave it a landscape. Now depending on paper size you want to print on, if you're putting it on your report, you just put it on A4. If you're printing it in a very large scale, you put scale A0. So let's try scale A0, and then you check this scale map element proportionally to change in paper size. Then you click on OK. Now this is an A0 size. So let's see how big we can achieve this and what scale we are going to get this on. All right. So with that, you come here and then you begin to take this up. Take this up. So we're going to have it at scale 30,000. So let's look at it in time of printing. How visible will these things be? So let's click on this and see. So this is how you're going to see it on the ground. How visible it's going to be if it's printed. So this is going to really show quite a lot of details, right? So you're going to see it even with the bill, just that this time around you may not be able to see what and what exactly are really on this. So these are just going to be like a form of decoration. But on digital scale, you can easily enter and see all that you want to see here, and you go out. All right. So basically, if this is printed on A0, is going to show a whole lot of details, right? So now that we have this, we just draw this up so that we can have our map. So let's do this and then drag this one down. Okay, so we can now begin to put our details down, like come to inside, we put our legend. Now the legend is going to consist of all the things that are here. So let's say we're going to have it in 4. Let's say we're going to have a 0.0, 0.5 of that. The legend is going to be big, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's not really big, sir. Wow. So we can make it bigger and bolder so that we'll be able to see all that is in it: hotel, restaurant, and everything that is in it. Okay. So they are returning the color and the symbol you've given them here. Right. The next is that we're going to have our north arrow. So you select which north arrow suit you best, which arrow you think is better for you. I like this arrow, either this or this, any of these arrow. I really like that. I don't know why. So I'm going to just make it a bit bigger since the map is going to be big, just for the sake of what placement really matters. So I'm going to do what next? Okay, I'm going to get a scale bar, and then our scale bar has to be metric. So I'm going to carry this one, or let's go down a bit. I'm going to take this, I'm going to OK it, then I'm going to put it here, and let's see what else do I need. So basically anything you need, you just come to insert, and then if it is scale bar, scale text, if you want to have the scale, that's what scale this map is at. So this will be scale 1:30,000. 1:30,000 is here. Oops, sorry, that's disappear. Okay, so anything you want, you just easily come to. Oh, I'm going to insert. I'm going to add data instead of insert. So you come to insert, and then you can insert whatever you want. All right. So once you're done with that, you can easily hit the export, but not yet. We have to put coordinate around us. So you right click, go to properties, you want to put grid. So the grid is there. So new grid. Now most of the times when you have this, you have it on projected coordinate system, but you're dealing with administrative boundary. It's best you used, especially if it's a state boundary, it's best you use these graticals. These are measured in degree, minutes, seconds. So it's best you use this that if it has to do with boundary. All right. So, but let's use that for this case. But even though yes, it's at uh, projected coordinate system WGS 1984 zone 32 31. So you either use this, but if it has to do with boundary, at most cases, especially state boundaries, you use this one because the adjoining boundary to it may not be on the same zone. And they have the same space in space and time, right? All right, so we're going to use major grips, the local government. So the whole state is lying in zone 31, so it's fine. So we're going to use measure grid. Then we'll go to next. Now, most of the times these days, they no longer produce map that has these lines on it. I don't know why, but I believe these days it's more of labels or this tick. But this tick, see that it's going to have too many ticks, so we'll just label it from outside and leave it. It's fine by us. So you can also edit this X and Y axis, but most of the times you just go by it like that, and then you go. And then you can also store it as a static. You can store it for where you can be able to edit it. Store as a fixed grid that updates will change to the data frame. If you store it here, it's static. Nothing you can do, either remove it or you can't do anything about it. So, but we want to be able to update it as we do anything, it updates itself. All right. Now, most of the time, this static is fine. Let's say I do a work of this location, and the next work I bring, I don't want to go through creating grid and all that. So if I put it on the first one that is store as a static graphic, you have to remove that one and create. Let's say I put a new place that has different coordinate system, different projection, that zones. It's definitely going to not be. It's just going to remain in that place. So that's why it's best you use this one so that as you bring in another location, it automatically updates along that path. So click on finish, and we click on apply. Yes, it's talking about that coordinate transfer we didn't do, but that's fine also. We're just for tutorial sake. Right, so you go to properties and we increase this to 12 based on how it suits you. So click on OK. I'll click on OK. It's still saying that, but that's his problem anyway. It's like it's not going to add. Okay, it added. Yes, it did. It added. So, all right. So I think the coordinate is too small for it. So let's add space. So let's add the property. Let's add the font size. So let's take this to 20. Though it may be too big, but let's go ahead. Don't warn me again. All right. So we have. This is fine. This is fine. So it's all right. So basically, this is how you can quickly do. So you can do so much aesthetically pleasing stuff. So you can make some adjustment to make your map very beautiful and all that. But I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to show you how you can go ahead to do that. So we have quite a number of videos that have dealt with all of this, but we're applying those things we've done, like how to do this, how to do that. We're applying them into more complex problems these days now. So we'll be doing more of this. And so now this video will have a part 3, and the part 3 will be dealing with, now assuming the tourists want to know the distance from one tourist center to another tourist center, or the distance or the shortest route for them to take from their hotels to any of the um, tourist guide, or they want to know how many like in a place, let's say in a district, how many uh tourist center is being serviced there, or things like that. We'll do a network analysis part of this um train we just started. So you will stay tuned for it. Whenever I'm going to make that video, I'm going to make an announcement, and then you will stay tuned for it. So thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and tell somebody about it. We just made it to 4,000 subscribers. Yes, we can take it to 10,000 in 2025. Shall we?